First up, let's talk about GameStop. You probably know GameStop as that big video game retailer, but that they've been making waves in the crypto world lately. They just announced plans to incorporate Bitcoin into their treasury as a reserve asset. Yeah, you heard that right. GameStop is getting into Bitcoin. Now, if this sounds familiar, that's because MicroStrategy, a business intelligence company, did something similar a while back. MicroStrategy actually turned itself into a Bitcoin powerhouse. They started stacking Bitcoin in their reserves, and now it looks like GameStop is following that same path. GameStop is planning a $1.3 billion convertible senior notes offering, and part of that money will be used to buy Bitcoin. Analysts are saying that this move could be huge, both for GameStop and for Bitcoin itself. As more companies look at Bitcoin as a legitimate financial asset, this could be a game changer. If GameStop continues down this path, they could be setting a big precedent for other companies in the future. And hey, with Bitcoin's volatility, it'll definitely be interesting to see how this all plays out for GameStop. Could they end up being one of the biggest Bitcoin investors out there? Only time will tell, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes on this one. Now let's talk about another big player making moves in the Bitcoin world, BlackRock. BlackRock, one of the largest asset management firms in the world, just raised its holdings in the iShares Bitcoin ETF by a massive 91%. They now own 821,664 shares of the Bitcoin ETF, which is worth around $47 million. This is a huge deal because BlackRock is a major institution, and their decision to increase their Bitcoin ETF holdings is another sign that big financial players are starting to take Bitcoin more seriously. A 91% increase in holdings isn't something you see every day, and it shows just how much faith BlackRock has in Bitcoin's future as an asset.
As you know, I was a skeptic. Yes. I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate.
So, if you were wondering whether Bitcoin is here to stay, moves like this from BlackRock are a pretty solid sign that it's only getting bigger. Speaking of Bitcoin, let's talk about what one billionaire investor has to say about it.
It's a really important thing. When you're the reserve currency of the world, you don't have somebody else's currency to save in. So the United States doesn't have another currency. It stores $600 billion in gold, which is a staggering amount. It's equivalent to 11 million years of American worker wages.
Dan Morehead, the CEO of Pantera Capital, made a bold statement recently. He said, "The U.S. holds $600 billion in gold. That's crazy. Go digital. Bitcoin is better." Now that's some strong language right there, right? Morehead is basically saying that Bitcoin, in his view, is a better store of value than gold. It's clear that he's all in on Bitcoin as the future of money. And with Bitcoin's supply being capped at 21 million coins, many people believe it has the potential to be digital gold. This is a growing sentiment among a lot of investors, especially as traditional assets like gold are facing challenges. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has been gaining more recognition, and with more companies like GameStop jumping on board, who knows? Maybe Bitcoin is the future after all. Okay, now let's talk about some news from the world of crypto exchanges. Crypto.com, one of the biggest crypto platforms out there, was recently under investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. But here's the big news. The SEC has officially closed the investigation, and no action has been taken against Crypto.com. That's right. They came out on top. Chris, the CEO of Crypto.com, said it himself. He pointed out how the SEC used every tool available to try to restrict Crypto.com, blocking access to banking, auditors, investors, and more. But despite all that, the company survived and became stronger, according to the CEO of Crypto.com. It's honestly a huge win for Crypto.com and the crypto space in general. The fact that the SEC didn't take any action shows that the regulatory landscape for crypto might be getting clearer. While there's still a lot of uncertainty, this is a positive step forward for the entire industry. Now let's shift gears a bit. Ferrari, the luxury car maker, just announced they're raising their prices by 10%. Why? Well, apparently, it's to offset President Trump's tariffs. So, what does this mean for potential Ferrari buyers? Well, if you were thinking about getting a Ferrari this year, you might need to adjust your budget because prices are going up. President Trump is about to roll out on April 3rd. We're talking about a 25% import tax on foreign-made cars and auto parts, and this could cause major volatility in the markets, including crypto. When tariffs like this hit, we often see market uncertainty. Traditional markets, including stocks, react quickly to these changes, and crypto often follows the same pattern. With increased volatility in global markets, investors might flock to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a safe haven, just like they do during other economic uncertainties. However, be careful with trading, especially futures during these dates. If there's a strong reaction to the tariffs, we could see sharp price swings in both the traditional markets and crypto. This volatility can present both risks and opportunities for traders. Keep an eye on April 2 and 3 and stay ready for some wild moves in the crypto market. As always, make sure you're trading smart and keeping your portfolio balanced. Switching things up again, have you ever wondered what could happen if blockchain technology was applied to genetics? Well, the Say Foundation, which is behind the Layer 1 blockchain Say, is exploring just that. They're reportedly in talks to acquire 23andMe, the personal genomics company, which would be a huge deal. If this happens, it could be a game changer for both genetics and blockchain. The plan is to put the genetic data of 15 million users on the blockchain, making it more secure and accessible. This is part of a bigger trend known as decentralized science. The Say Foundation has already launched a $65 million venture capital fund focused on science startups, and this acquisition of 23andMe would be their boldest move yet. It shows how blockchain can be applied to industries outside of just finance and crypto, opening up all sorts of possibilities for the future of healthcare, data security, and even personalized medicine. It's definitely something to keep an eye on because if it works, we could see a major shift in how genetic data is handled and shared in the future. Justin Sun, the founder of Tron, has just made it to the cover of Forbes. This is a huge milestone, especially considering that the last time a Chinese person graced the cover was Jack Ma when he was still leading Alibaba. Now, let's move on and see what Michael Saylor says in a conversation with Senator Cynthia Lummis.
By the way, we can't stop it. Satoshi started the fire. The fire is burning, and every single day, tens or hundreds of millions of dollars of capital are flowing into the network. It's going to go from 2 billion to 20 billion to 200 billion to 2 trillion to 20 trillion to 200 trillion. And when it gets to 200 trillion, it'll chop along at plus 20% to eventually 300, 400, 500 trillion dollars. And where is that capital going to come from? It's going to come from Russian real estate. It's going to come from Chinese private equity. It's going to come from everything in Africa, everything in South America. You have capital flowing from foreign financial and physical assets to Bitcoin. You have capital flowing from 20th century assets to Bitcoin. Capital is going to flow from the 20th century to the 21st century. It's going to flow from physical to digital. It's going to flow from currency-based derivatives to a digital commodity derivative. So it's already happening. It's unstoppable. It's literally like, for me to say Bitcoin's going to demonetize gold understates it. Yeah, it's going to demonetize gold. Then it's going to demonetize the real estate that's 10x more than gold. Then it's going to demonetize every long-term store of value. So what you have is a situation like the Europeans show up and they give like some Dutch guilders or some pieces of paper or some glass beads or seashells or stone coins to people using a more primitive form of money.
Saylor is saying that Bitcoin can reach a $500 trillion market cap. So now you know your target. That's all for today's video, folks. It's an exciting time in the world of crypto with big moves from companies like GameStop and Crypto.com, and even luxury brands like Ferrari getting caught up in the mix. We're seeing new ideas about how Bitcoin can fit into the global financial system, and it's all moving fast. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching and have a good one.